Good afternoon, Patriots, and welcome to Daily with Kayli on March 23rd, 2021. What is today? Wednesday? No, it's Tuesday. Sorry. Good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing? Please share with me where you're tuning in from. Hashtag strength in numbers. Hopefully y'all can hear me. I know you'll tell me if you can't, so I'm just going to count on the fact that you can. Welcome and thank you for spending a few minutes of your afternoon with me today. Oh, we have, we're going to start today by talking about the elephant in the room because that's what's all over the news. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to address what happened in Colorado yesterday, and we're going to go from there. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Good day to all of you from wherever you're tuning in from. Thank you so much for being here. Please take 2 seconds to share this video. The more you share, the more people see this. It's very important that our voices be heard. So please take 2 seconds to share this video. After you've done that, please hit the hearts and likes so that we can break the algorithm and get as many people viewing this video as possible. If you're following us on YouTube, please hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you do not miss all of our latest breaking news updates. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate you all being here. I generally start my news updates with some jokes, but I'm just not really feeling in the joking mood today, you guys. There's a lot of stuff going on in our country, and we need to talk about it. So let's get started. If you don't know, which I assume most of you know, there was a shooting yesterday in Boulder, Colorado. The man that was identified as the shooter is from Syria, from what I can gather. He was 21 years old, and he killed at least 10 people, including one police officer. The victims' ages were 20, 23, 25, 49, 59, 51, 61, 62, 65, and the police officer was 51 years old. So we know, well, most of you should know that this is going to get tons of media attention because it very well fits the narrative of taking away our guns, right? So obviously in the coming days and even before the shooter was identified and all that, the Democrats were already on their run to ban guns. So what more to fuel the fire than this, right? So I'm going to go ahead and share with you guys what Kamala Harris said about the shooting. It was very brief and to me seemed extremely fake, but I'll let you guys be the judge.
The shooting in Colorado yesterday.
Tragic. It's absolutely tragic. It's tragic. 10 people were going about their day, living their lives, not bothering anybody. A police officer who was performing his duties and with great courage and heroism. 7 children, I understand. Tragic.
Is gun legislation more of a priority now that
That's it. That's all she had to say about it. It was it's tragic. Yeah, I agree. It is tragic. You're right. But let's see here. Let me scroll down here just a smidge and see what Hillary Clinton has to say about it. Getting back to normal in America cannot mean getting back to regular mass shootings. Okay, let me stop her right there. Are we not under the impression that regular mass shootings happen on a daily, especially in places like Chicago? There's no mainstream media covering that. It happens frequently. How many people have to be involved for it to be considered a mass shooting? Does anybody know the answer to that? There were 10 people involved in this. So my heart goes out to the 10 families grieving in Colorado today. We simply can't let this continue to be who we are. So I'm just going to say how I feel about this tweet. Hillary Clinton is implying that we can't let it continue for Americans to own guns. You know what's funny is last night I had a dream that there was an active shooter in the grocery store where I was, because that's the last thing I was thinking about before I went to bed last night. And I had a dream that the shooter was close enough for me to shoot him. And I shot him. And I took him out before other people were harmed by him, more people than had already been harmed. Their goal from this point forward, always, thank you, Dana, 4 people equals a mass shooting. 4. That happens almost daily in Chicago. Almost daily. So they're going to try to take away our guns. They were going to do that anyway. Now this just fuels the fire, right? But imagine if an American citizen with a conceal and carry had been at that store, and not just a bunch of people holding cell phones standing around saying, oh my gosh, I think there's a shooting. Imagine if there was an American citizen there that had a conceal and carry permit, license, or even an open carry. I don't know what the laws in Colorado are. That's beside the point. Imagine if there would have been someone there with a concealed carry or an open carry that had a gun that could have stopped this guy. There would have been less deaths, period. What they are going to try to do is take away those people. The people who have knowledge of guns, the people who should carry guns because they know what they're doing and they're doing it to protect their family and those around them. That's who they're going to try to take guns from. And they're going to use stuff like this to make sure that they've got plenty of evidence to fit their narrative to do it. So, here's my word to the wise. Keep your guns, get your guns, buy your ammo. It is your Second Amendment right to bear arms. Period. If I would have been there, I would have stopped the guy. No questions asked. I would have. For everybody that was being harmed by this crazy man that just went out and killed people because he wanted to. It's disgraceful. It's absolutely disgraceful. And you know what else? I guarantee we don't hear from Joe Biden about it. Let's see if he talks within the next 2 days. My bet is no. All right, so as we know, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who has routinely slammed the Trump administration for so-called concentration camps at the southern border, has been silent on the devastating Biden-era migrant crossing. And even more so than that, she was asked if she was going to go to the southern border, and she laughed. She literally laughed. Yeah, she laughed when they asked her if she was going to go to the border. But she's very concerned about the crisis and the well-being of these children and these people. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we saw pictures. Oh, by the way, the pictures that were shown of the inside of the border facilities, people on Yahoo, which I don't follow Yahoo, but people on Yahoo were saying there's not even people wrapped in those blanket things. They're just doing that as an illusion to make Biden look bad. That's their story. I'm not kidding, you guys. It's seriously. That's their story. Joe Biden kept in place emergency regulation called Title 42, which was enacted by former President Donald Trump, which grants border officials the authority to expel illegal immigration families over CCP virus concerns. Now listen to this. The U.S. Border Patrol used it to block 13% of families entering the U.S. illegally from March 14th to March 21st, allowing the other 87% into the country for processing, according to the Department of Homeland Security. I guess my question is, Joe, why are you keeping it if you're not going to use it? 13%? Really? A scathing New York Post cover released Tuesday rips President Joe Biden over the migrant crisis at the southern border, as well as for the administration's apparent attempts to hide the crisis from the media and the American people. Biden's cages, the cover reads, captioning a photo of an overcrowded migrant shelter, which according to Yahoo is all a bunch of smoke. On Monday, due to the dramatic rise in unaccompanied minor immigrant children at the southern border of the United States, the city of San Diego, California announced that it would use the massive San Diego Convention Center to house many of them. Sure, why not? A mom from California speaking out against her daughter's school after it told her she could not sing the national anthem because of CCP virus concerns while the team continued to play on the field. Are we not seeing the double standard here? Let 1 million people in. Keep them 3 inches apart from each other, sleeping on the floor. But you definitely can't sing the national anthem because we're worried about the CCP virus. For sure. It's no longer a surprise to hear about public schools using their access to impressionable children to push divisive ideas about politics and race. But now it has escalated to a new level, using their taxpayer-funded budgets to shape the views of adults who live nearby. We all saw that coming, right? So, before details were known about the massacre that happened on Monday in Boulder, Democrats rushed to advance their gun control agenda. Police say that 10 people, including 1 police officer, were murdered at the grocery store. The killer was eventually apprehended, suffering only a few injuries, which I've already gone over with you guys. Chicago's suburb of Evanston approves America's first reparations program for Black residents whose descendants lived in the city between 1919 and 1969 and experienced housing discrimination. $10 million will be paid out using marijuana taxes. Wow. Let's just keep dividing on the base of race. Why not? Governor Cuomo tells an adoring fan, "I'm not going anywhere, darling." Creep. As the Chinese embassy in London prepares to move into its new location, councilors voted to consider naming roads and buildings in the surrounding area of the site. I have no idea what those words are, so I'm not even going to try. President Biden's economic advisors are pulling together a sweeping $3 trillion package to boost the economy, reduce carbon emissions, and narrow economic inequality, beginning with a giant infrastructure plan that may be financed in part through tax increases on corporations and the rich. Awesome. Super excited. 3 fully immunized Hawaii residents test positive for the CCP virus. Nice. Biden has been briefed. The Colorado shooter had ISIS sympathies, per a White House official. Let's see what Biden says about that. Probably nothing. Okay, let's listen to Press Secretary Jen Psaki about border stuff, because, you know, we just love to hear from Circle Back Jen, don't we? She definitely knows what's going on. Let's hear what she has to say. Oh, Circle Back Jen. Such a good time.
So now that Border Patrol agents in the Rio Grande Valley are letting adult migrants go without even issuing notices to appear, is the Biden immigration policy just becoming more of like the honor system?
That is an inaccurate depiction of what's happening at the border. So there's no change in policy. The border remains closed. Families and single adults are being expelled under Title 42 and should not attempt to cross illegally. In the narrow circumstances in which families can't be expelled, the family is tested and quarantined as needed and placed in immigration proceedings to commence. In some cases, families are placed in removal proceedings further along in the release process. So if families are going to be deported and they're awaiting deportation, they don't need a court date and they don't need a notice to appear because it has already been determined that they will be sent back to their home countries. Sometimes that takes a minute to ensure there is proper transportation and steps in place to do that.
But if Secretary Mayorkas says the border is secure, the border is closed, how is that the case if these migrants are being processed on this side of the border and then put on a bus to points unknown on this side of the border?
Well, again, there are limited cases where there are families because they can't be held in Mexico who are processed, tested, considered at the border. Most of them are sent back to their home countries. Those are very limited cases, and it's certainly not a depiction of the overarching policy.
Okay.
Limited cases. There are limited cases. How many hundreds of thousands of migrants do we have in the US right now? Hundreds of thousands. Those are all limited cases. Okay. If you say so, sweet cheeks. All right. Sure. You guys, I would like to take 2 seconds to just take a moment of silence for everybody that was involved in the shooting yesterday, whether it have been, people that lost their lives or just people that were there. I don't know. I've never been in a situation like that, but I can't imagine how it is impacting everyone that was there, whether they were affected or not. So I would like to take a moment of silence for the victims and also for the people that were there and had to experience this horrendous tragedy. Thank you, Lord, for giving them peace that passes all understanding in Jesus' name. You guys, I can tell you right now, what is coming is take their guns, take their guns, take their guns, take their guns. That right there, when they truly attempt to do that, is going to be the pivot point in America. Because millions of people are going to stand against it. And I'm going to be one of them. So just be ready, because that's what's coming down the pike right now. That's what they want to do. They want to take your guns. And they're going to use this to fuel their fire. Thank you guys for listening to me today. Thank you for tuning in. Please make sure you're following us on all of our social media platforms. I love you all. God bless you all. God bless America. And I will catch you guys tomorrow.